passes to Tanzania over as the country opens up and dominates trade in the East African Community region. Now, according to the East African Community Secretary General Peter Mathuki, this comes as the East African Community is planning to roll out a 24-hour operating system across all the borders of the region to improve trade. Now, the growth of Tanzania's trade with other states is largely attributed to the removal of the non-trade barriers that had characterized cross-border operations for some time. Now, especially regarding trade with Kenya. Now, Tanzania's huge export volumes to Uganda being boosted by the growing amount of gold shipped into Uganda, while Uganda's exports to Tanzania are yet to grow significantly since the ban on grain and sugar more than 2 years back. All right, now clearly you could see how Uganda and Kenya are losing a lot of balance when it comes to trade surpluses to Tanzania. Who is benefiting from this? However, that goes back to you, the viewer. Now, moving on. Ugandan hotels are set to sink into serious business ahead of the Minister for Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Hilary Onek's revelation that the proposed 2,000 asylum seekers from Afghanistan will be house-held in hotels in Uganda, and the bills will be cleared by the United States government. Now, Minister Onek made the revelation while appearing before Parliament's Presidential Affairs Committee during a meeting held to apprentice MPs on the mandate of the Ministry of Disaster Preparedness and Refugees. Now, Uganda did agree to temporarily host 2,000 Afghan refugees at the request of the United States, and the thousands of Afghans are fleeing their country after Taliban fighters announced that they had entered Kabul and took control of the presidential palace. Now, President Ashraf Ghani left Afghanistan and reportedly saying he wanted to avoid bloodshed, signaling an end of the 20-year conflict in Afghanistan. Now, this actually, in this particular one, Ugandan hotels are actually going to be earning some serious business and earning more money regarding the fact that over 2,000 Afghanistans will be in the country, and that means you should prepare yourself well. You never know, the government may come out and choose you as the service provider for that particular asylum seekers from Afghanistan. And the money is coming in from the US government. So you could clearly see what money we're talking about now. All right, still moving on now. Algeria has opened its market to Ugandan milk and coffee. As the sources say, milk worth 500 million US dollars will be exported to Algeria per year. Now, the deal is in its final stages as Algeria has been importing its milk from Poland and Argentina. Now, Uganda's envoy to Algeria, that is Ali Tuma Sambu, confirmed that the development, saying that the trade will be booming had the COVID-19 pandemic not slowed down the process. Now, the opening of the North African country market is a breath of fresh air for ever-growing Ugandan milk production capacity, and it's also an opportunity to grow its capacity to milk to a more sophisticated market. Now, the Algerian envoy in Kampala, His Excellency Farid Bolnabel, and Sambu have finalized negotiations with the Algerian government to give Uganda such import gigs that are actually going to benefit the agriculture in Uganda. All right, now still moving on, speaking of money, now a 3.9 billion shillings project to support youth and other vulnerable groups dealing in agriculture has also been launched in Uganda. Now, the project, funded by Gold International with support from the MasterCard Foundation, will support over 300,000 beneficiaries in 18 different districts. Now, the target groups include young women and men, refugees, and youth with disabilities. Now, speaking on Friday at the launch of the project in Kasese, Aloysius Tolinabo, the market system specialist at Gold, says that the major objective of the project is to skill the youth to improve their livelihoods and incomes. He adds that they also want to train young farmers on how they can use technology to expand their support in the product market. Now, Queen Renzururu Kingdom, Mama Intungu, and the gender focal person in Kasese district says that the young people have not fully embraced agriculture because they lack knowledge and support. All right, now still moving on, Makerere University management has suspended a planned tuition increment for 2 years. Now, earlier this month, Guild President Ivan Sempija did ask the university management to halt the 15% tuition increment policy in light of the COVID-19 pandemic and economic constraints. Now, the student leaders also demanded a waiver on functional fees, which is part of the tuition, as they argue that online studies did not give the students a chance to fully utilize items paid for, like sports halls of residence and library. Now, the 15% policy provides that the university will increase tuition by 15% every academic year for the next 5 years. Now, the policy took effect with the students enrolled for the 2019-2020 academic year, triggering chaos in the university, with the students saying it will deny children from poor families from accessing education. And then moving on as well, Kampala City traders and the Kampala Kids Advocacy Forum have partnered with Mildmay Testing Laboratory to carry out massive COVID-19 screening at a subsidized cost. Now, Suleiman Paji, the forum's organizing secretary, does say that as leaders, they have been looking for measures to prevent the outbreak of the COVID-19 third wave. And according to Mpaji, since some traders can't afford testing for COVID-19 at a higher price, traders will pay 25,000 shillings for testing. Now, Mpaji does say that the testing centers will be opened in the new and old tax parks and Mukwano Arcade parking space. All right, now lastly, in our news headlines this particular hour, 3 days ago, Uganda was hit hard by the news that the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Major General Paul Ssonko, the Lion of Mogadishu, did go silent. Now, who is Major General Paul Ssonko, if we are to dig deeper? Now, Paul Ssonko was a senior military officer at the rank of Major General in the Uganda People's Defense Force, that is the UPDF, and as of December 2019, he was on a special assignment to monitor on behalf of the guarantors of the South Sudan peace process. That is with the assembling, screening, demobilization, and integration of the armed forces of South Sudan. Now, he was born in the Acholi sub-region in the northern region of Uganda in Padar. Now, Major General Ssonko did earn his standing in the army as a fierce fighter against the Al-Shabaab in Somalia. Now, Ssonko is one of the commanders accredited for breaking the back of Al-Shabaab militants in Somalia when he was commander of the UPDF contingent several times between 2011 and 2018. Now, because of his relentless confrontation with Al-Shabaab, insurgents, and capturing key historical places like the Red Mosque in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu, then the Brigadier Ssonko was nicknamed the Lion of Mogadishu. Now, General Ssonko, who was overall election security operations commander and has been the lead in investigations into the attempted murder of General Katumba Wamala, and according to President Jorram Museveni, appointed Major General Paul Ssonko as Deputy Inspector General of Police to replace Major General Stephen Mosei Sabiti on December 16th last year, 2020. Now, General Ssonko was appointed into police force for 28 days to January 14th. Now, the presidential elections, when tensions were very high. May his soul rest in eternal peace, and may the Almighty God actually heal the hearts of the loved ones who have actually lost a breadwinner as well as a father and a relative to many. Now, that brings us to the end of our local headlines here on Smart Means Business. Now, we cross over to Rita Cabanyoro for the latest in the international headlines.